Well, I got some pictures that I'll throw in there on the posted thing, but I was able to scrape me up a little grate for a stove. I seen a piece of pipe today. It was actually like a hot water tank for a camper or something. It's made out of galvanized. I don't know if it's thick enough, but I got this piece of tin. And what I'm thinking is maybe cut that up and use it on the door. Just pull the door back off and pull our tarp off of that. It works, don't get me wrong. I mean, something is better than nothing, always. But, you know, I'm thinking maybe we could trace that out and use it. I really got intentions on putting that on the roof. Or use it as a ridge cap. I found a thing. We took a saw and split two pieces of live edge. I had to cut them down. But I found an old top to a building that had been wrapped up. You know, he just wrapped it up. I think we did some trading. I think I've traded him out of it. He had that for the roof on his, but he got enough tin to do all of his. Somebody was nice enough to bring him some stuff, and he made it work. But I got this, so we might be able to make a stove. And what I did in here today was I had to do some trading around, but there's our there's one of two pieces of live edge that we split. Now it's solid. I got structural screws in the top to hold it. So they're 5 inches long. You know, that one I cut it a little too short, but when we put our floor in here eventually, you know, it's pretty much where it's going to be, so it don't really matter. But it's stiff. I mean, it is stiff. And then I got them other two pieces that I cut off, and I'm thinking that I might have to take these boards off here and then just kind of run them in there, two in the back. That way we can stiffen up that back wall. And then there's the other boards that we split. Now, they were a little bit thinner, so I had to run them different. But they got structural screws in to pull it all tight. So these beams are tied to this beam. And it pulled it in pretty tight. And it's a little wonky looking, but I feel good about it. And then, like I say, tomorrow maybe we can cut these down. And we'll get that board and that board out. And then I got another board to finish up our couple little scabs right there. And then I'm thinking that I did some trading and it's enough tin maybe to cover this top, you know. And then I've got some of that rubberized paint to get it all done up. And then if we have enough on that, maybe we can trim that door out and just pop rivet us a piece of metal into that. I mean, dude, it's aluminum. That's good enough for me, to be honest. I mean, it ain't hurt, really. You could take and go get some plexiglass or some glass. It's got a spring in it. It needs a few more screws to hold it on the inside so it's real stiff. But I've had pieces of glass cut, and you get this butyl tape and you just stick it down in there or put a screen in it. It's a screen door, really, but you can put glass or screen. I've done screen doors that would fix them for people. Not that I want to do that. I would be better with a couple pieces of plexiglass if they didn't want 200. You know, I don't think it's that much, but it's expensive. You know, the last time I went over, my cousin, he was cutting the glass and he cut his hand open. So, really ain't trying to get him hurt, but he will do it. He will cut it. But we got this, and that looks like that would be a beautiful fix. I mean, to be totally honest, just take and put it right over the front and pop rivet with some silicone and call her good enough. I mean, that door, it's nothing really. But you got to stay thin. You got to think, you know, it's a piece of aluminum. We got to keep it to where we can work with it. You know what I mean? You don't want to put a piece of wood on it or something. I mean, if it's thin enough, sure, but you got to stay with the materials. And then I got another piece of board here to throw up on our two holes. And we're going to try to maybe, I might take this beam down here, split it, and then put it from there to there just to stiffen this up. And then we'll have one more to come from that beam down here, stiff that front up. That's good enough. And if we get that 10 on there, I'll be happy cotton. But we're going to get a piece of live edge and put it across the front and the back. And then we'll trim this up. I fixed the saw. Trim that edge up, straighten it up just a wee bit, nothing fancy. And then I might try to take another piece of live edge and go across these rafters to tie everything together hard. So, it all depends. And then wrap it up on the bottom side. If I get enough tin, I'll just wrap this bottom side in tar paper for this winter. I'll be happy, happy. So, we got to see where we're at. Getting closer. It's pretty close. Couple more boards here, one more board here, top's done. You know, I stiffened up the sides. It looks a little crooked, wonky, but it's strong like bull. I feel good about being better on top. You know, it was a little whatever, but like I say, you know, once we can get these couple little boards out and get our other beams in here, you know, they're kind of thinner, so maybe I'm thinking that we can just, you know, stiffen up this backside, tie it in here, tie it in right here. Once you put your boards across the front of it, you know, you'll be good. You know, that live edge, it's going to have it looking a little wonky, but, you know, it is what it is. It looks a little wonky. 2 boards, 3 boards, whatever it is, and hopefully we got enough. And then we just need to get that. Yeah, it's got a dip in it. You can see it. I ain't going to deny it. It looks like it pulled it in a little bit harder whenever we put that up there. So, who knows? It might have pulled it down a little harder. Don't really care. We just need to get these boards stiffened up on the edge. On the back side, the front side, cap that, couple more boards. And if that tin's enough, it looked like it was, we'll tin it up and get it painted with some of that rubberized stuff. But that's pretty stiff. Feels a lot better. So we got that board. I'm hoping that's enough. And then it's either going to fix the door, which the door is good enough for just a little old warm shack in case the power does go off. Hopefully it don't. You know, if I got my snowman coming down here taking care of me, I got to make sure he's got a warm spot to warm up. And if the power's off, I got to have a spot to stay warm. So that's what we're doing. I'm repeating myself. I'm tired. I went up there and had to do some trading. I got in there and got her done though. But hopefully we get enough to do everything out, and hopefully pretty soon. I'm sure he'll bring that down in the next day or so. And then it's going to rain for a week, so we got to just get buttoned up here a little bit. And once we get buttoned up, all we got to have is a roof on this thing, and then we can work on the truck some. So, a little bit of tar paper on that ain't going to be no big deal on the side. I'd be like, yeah, you know what I mean? So, it's looking actually pretty decent. I mean, like I say, you can do cap boards. You could get just some old wore out tin and just make it look rustic, you know, patina or whatever. That's kind of like a patina. I call it the cobbler special, but, you know, it is what it is. We're still plugging. I think I got a stove lined out. We got a stove put in it with the pipe all the way out with tin on it wrapped up in tar paper. I'm good. You know, and I'd like to get that door with some tin on it if we got this, or maybe get some plexiglass or something. I'll at least want a window in it. I tried to get a window. He had a really nice window. I'd like to have that. It made a nice little window in that thing and kind of put it up high enough so you could, once ever you get your floor in it, wherever it's going to be, you know, it ain't going to be in the way, but it'll be in there and let some sunlight in or whatever. So, if we had all that, you know, I'd be a happy, happy camper. So, and, you know, get it all capped out, back and front, wrapped up tar paper with the tin, and a stove, homemade. That little stove was the ticket. I said, like to have that. And that grate would fit in it, and I could make something that would be pretty decent. And if I could get enough, get just a little thing to put in it, in the top of it. It's like a cylinder. You know, it's the size of a 5-gallon bucket. It ain't going to get too much heat. And then you could cut that in a way and weld it up to make it work. You know, that ain't like something you're going to be heating all. Just a little, you know, you might use it a couple times or something. Or, you know, the power's been off for 6 weeks. But, you know, hopefully we don't have to deal with that. But, you know, if it was to, you know, just wood, you could cut the top of it off and make something really, really nice. But it's smaller, so it would be cheaper, you know. But I'm thinking that's it. I know I'm rambling. We'll get her fixed up.